Figure that out. But here we go. Another ZvZ. Let's do this. In the top right, I don't know why I went like fancy guy with that. As the green Zerg, it is Elazer.
And his opponent spotting in the bottom left right hand corner. Oh god. Spotting in the
Jesus.
bottom left hand corner of the map, we have the red Zerg player. Give it up for viOLet.
It's happening.
It's happening.
We're dying.
I thought it was doing okay. The PvP had energized me so, but I'm starting to hit some limits.
I'm starting to hit that ZvZ.
I need some pylons to support my brain.
You could have said energize your brain or powered your brain, but just didn't continue with the analogy, did you?
I didn't know. That's because I'm lacking pylons to power my brain for the analogy.
Yeah, I'm getting very tired now. But thank God that Fear Dragon joined me for this cast, because I don't know what a solo cast would look like.
That's what it would have been.
I just would have been like, some things happened, and then some more things happened. Which is basically what casters do anyway, it's fine.
Too real. Well, we got openings out of both these players. I think Spawning Pool versus Hatchery first. I don't know if this has made a huge difference in Legacy of the Void. I know in Heart of the Swarm, the way that things would work out, the math, it ended up being almost exactly identical between Hatch first and Spawning Pool first, but I haven't heard or seen much of the math between Spawning Pool first and Hatch first and Legacy of the Void. I feel like it could have changed with the difference in worker counts, but I'm not knowledgeable on that. If you do know that, I'd love to hear in the chat.
I was making a tweet, so I guess the chat will also update me. Nailed it.
Well, handful of Zergans coming out from both these players, but I am not super familiar with what viOLet or Elazer have really been doing in Legacy of the Void, or what their stylistic preferences have been.
Yeah, viOLet, was one of those names, gosh, 4 years ago now. Holy crap. That was synonymous with, Pult, basically. Like, they both were winning a ton of shit, mostly those MLG things, right? And then he had issues with Visa, then Legacy of the Void, he was kind of, like, iffy on his return, and, stuff happened. But basically, we don't know much about his form. He's obviously in the round of 16, so it's not bad, and he is still, imbued with that Korean magical power. Whatever it is.
Well, we're going to see how strong that Korean magical power is with this big Zergling attack that's going to be followed up not only with the speed that can catch some of those Zerglings, but opts not to. Says, no, time is of the essence right now. Going to be following this up with the Roach Warren as well for potentially a second wave of attack, but also joining up behind this. And we'll see how much damage these Zerglings can do.
Yeah. Cats answering a question with expert Zerg knowledge, by the way.
Oh, thank you, Cats.
That's pretty baller. I would actually pay for.
I'm gonna read that in a second because I want to talk about the fact that these Zerglings are kind of wrecking everything right now for Elazer. This is becoming a bit of a problem.
This is very funny, especially because viOLet went for the Roach Worm behind this. It's Elazer that went for the Baneling Nest. You think that Lings would not be his problem, but they kind of are. The Hatchery will not go down, although it was a scare, and his drone count has certainly suffered. Damn. But at least he cleaned it up.
Yeah, he keeps the hatchery alive, which is definitely very important, and it has, I guess, some extra queens that will be useful for the later stages, especially if he ends up facing off against a bit of aggression. But now Elazer has some extra units that he can do that counter swing. This is the swinging of ZvZ, where you say, oh, I overmade a few too many units for that defense. Well, I guess I just attack with them and see if I can counterbalance, but here's the difference. There are roaches now out for viOLet.
Yeah. Now, Elazer, he knows this. He definitely knows it now, right? But he started his own Roach Warren, so he's not going to be caught without his own roaches, but that drone lead will certainly play a part in the army supply soon enough. The Spine Code is going to help out. It's going to have that little bit of a high ground advantage there. And viOLet is not committing to an attack. He's getting an Evo Chamber, he's getting a third base. Without speed, maybe he just doesn't feel going out on the map right now. I think he knows he has a lead, though, after those Lings did a surprising amount of damage.
Well, third expansion going to go down, and with roaches to defend, I feel like this is going to be a really easy economic lead potentially for viOLet, unless the Elazer just has to go for his own faster third expansion. But I mean, he's getting a third, he's getting layer tech up, he's getting up his upgrades. What is the Elazer doing with his resources instead?
Playing catch up.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. He's gonna need a lot of ketchup and maybe even a little bit of mustard to make this work. But starting up
Elbow
his
grease?
layers,
Ugh, gross.
and elbow grease. What do you put in your burgers?
Hard work, Fear Dragon.
Hard work. Good answer. Well, I think actually ketchup is a really good way to put it though, because as you're saying, it's, you know, it's later layer tech, later evolution chamber going up, and just later roaches coming up.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I guess all the action happened, and viOLet's definitely taking a lead from all of that, but I would actually not mind just like an expert Zerg right now being so excited and casting for us, as I'm really starting to feel the crash.
I'm starting to feel the crash, but I'm still I'm not gonna lie, I'm still excited about this series because it's still a cool series. I'm just a little bit sad because I agree with you that I would love to have an expert Zerg, because then they would be able to explain all the cool intricacies that we may be missing because we're a little bit extra tired. Like, even, I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of things that we might be missing in a normal ZvZ if we weren't tired, but we're probably missing more than usual because we are tired.
Okay, so this is something that was actually brought up, and apparently she's very passionate about it. That's Scarlet, with this Overlord speed. And we, as passionate as she seemed to be about it, we actually don't see it that often still. But it's certainly something you can bring into the game. One, it's going to ensure that your overlords can dodge out corrosive biles like we were seeing right there. You can play around and you can, you know, keep it alive, but that'll ensure it. And that will let you have, you know, borderline map hacks. You're going to be able to see every single movement your opponent does. But it also encourages the, at the very least, the threat of roach or baneling drops. And we have seen a couple of Zergs very intentionally go for the speed and then the drops. And believe it or not, every single time they tried, all 3 times, they died. Elazer was one of them, now that I am remembering.
Well, hopefully Elazer is not going to have a repeat performance, because we have 2 overlords, both with drop, and 4 roaches loaded up into them. Going to be making their way across the map. But what's sort of interesting to me is the fact that the overlords were made in his main base, so they're going to make that journey across the map, run past the overlords of viOLet, with a very clear indication that they have Overlord drop. And that's where it's going to get a little bit strange and awkward.
This is what happened to Elazer last time he tried. In fact, he beat his teammate who was doing this exact same build in the exact same way. So it's like, so far this build is not, I don't know.
It's 0 for 2.
Yeah, 0 for 3 actually. But of course, this is all stemmed from the early game as well, so it's hard to entirely blame the roach drops, which aren't doing very much.
But, I mean, we're starting to see the violets doing a lot of damage. Some of the banelings try and make their way in, but oh god, beautiful corrosive biles coming down from viOLet and really gonna push back Elazer. And at the same time, the roaches on the other side of the map, they were doing a little bit of damage, but mostly these roaches have been fighting other roaches. They haven't been killing off a ton of drones or anything like that. They only killed off 1 drone so far this entire game. Elazer may be able to clean this up, but viOLet's already done a decent bit of damage, I want to say?
He's did alright. He's actually rallying across the map, which might be a little mistake here, is of course that defender's advantage is starting to kick in big for Elazer. He also didn't anticipate the second Overlord drop, which did take its time. It was a lot later than the first, and even the first wasn't cleaned up as well as I thought it was going to be. It stuck around for a while longer. However, at the end of the day, those numbers still in favor of violets, but Elazer, I guess, could try the same tactic again and hope to get even luckier.
Yeah, I love the fact that even just this Overlord drop is stopping all mining from this natural expansion, which in and of itself is a win. You know, we have 2 gas geysers over there that aren't being utilized at all, which is definitely going to help out. And you can even tell, actually, sorry, I was looking at Elazer's money. I was going to say he has far more minerals banked up than gas, but, well, Overlord going to try and make its way over and find another opportunity for attack.
Is this the greatest compliment someone can give you? This sounds like day 9.
You know, I hear it so often that I don't know anymore.
Oh, really? Huh.
I'm not day 9.
Oh, damn it. Why am I become friends with you? This
Okay.
might be the kill push. I'm not sure. The army supply is in favor of viOLet, but not by so much. The defense advantage or grid corrosive bile is going to try to make up for it, but he does have that +2 as well, and that definitely helps. So
Yeah,
that is
those
going to be game.
Those corrosive bile shots for viOLet were really, really strong. There is that Overlord drop coming back in for a laser, but it's not going to be enough to equalize. viOLet taking game number 1.